Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2025 BMW 340i and the 2024 Audi S5 Sportback. Now the 25-year model for the S5 isn't really different, so this is the model that we have for today. I haven't been able to check out the 25-year model yet. But for the starting MSRPs, the 340s are at $61,600 versus $57,900 for the Audi. In today's video, as tested, the BMW is $64,000 and the Audi is $70,000. So a little bit more just depending on the options that you go with, but they can be similarly spec'd.
Now this is powered by the 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to the hybrid motor as well, along with the 8-speed automatic. It pumps out 386 horsepower, 398 pound-feet of torque. This model here is rear-wheel drive, however, all-wheel drive is available. It weighs in right around 3,900 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds, and it has a top speed up to 180 miles an hour. This also has a fuel capacity of 15.6 gallons. You'll expect to see around 23 miles per gallon in the city, 31 out on the highway. And this is powered by the 3-liter turbocharged V6 that's paired to the 8-speed automatic transmission, pumping out 339 horsepower, 369 pound-feet of torque. That power sent through the Quattro all-wheel drive system, propelling this 3,900-pound sedan from 0 to 60 in 4.3 seconds. It has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 15.3 gallons. You'll expect to see around 21 miles per gallon in the city, 30 out on the highway. Now as we work our way back to the front end for this M340i, it does have the M Sport Pro package, which provides it with all the gloss black. So you'll notice that for the kidney grille, where there's also active grille shutters and a forward-facing camera. There's also LEDs for the lights up front. With that dark housing, they go off of the side of that kidney grille very nicely. There's also parking sensors up front, a lot more cutouts and inlets to provide additional cooling as needed. And the trim accents on both sides give it a really nice contrast. And then there's some subtle lines that come down the hood. As we move on to the exterior now for this S5, this particular model has just over $10,000 worth of options. This is a Premium Plus, which is around $3,000 for that package. This also has the Black Optics package as well as the S Sport package too. So we have a lot of goodies for this particular model, and we will start up front with the Black Optics package, which provides us with all of the gloss black exterior trim accents. So you'll notice the entire hexagonal grille is finished off in gloss black, as well as the Audi logo and the S5 badge. There's also the forward-facing camera, all of the parking sensors, as well as the sensors in both corners for the adaptive cruise control. Even more gloss black in the very lower section. And then of course this has a set of LED headlights with the DRLs and turn signals in the upper section of that housing, and 4 distinctive lines coming down the hood, meeting the top of that grille very nicely. There's more gloss black accents as well as cutouts on the outsides there to better help with airflow and aerodynamics. Now the M340 also has a really nice set of 2-tone wheels along with the M Sport brakes. They are finished off in red for this model. This has gloss black for the power folding side mirrors, which have a camera and a turn signal. There's a sunroof up top, and then all of the window trim is blacked out as well. And then there's some really nice definition in that lower side skirt, as well as some nice subtle lines that run down the side. Now as we work our way to the side, part of that package is the 20-inch wheels with that 5-blade design to them. This also has the red Sport brake calipers with 6 pistons up front. This also has a Sport rear differential as well as the adaptive suspension too. And then you'll notice more gloss black for the S5 logo, as well as on the power folding side mirrors. There's also a turn signal. There is a sunroof up top. All of the window trim is blacked out, and there's very nice lines, very crisp lines too, that run down the side, giving it that Sportback design. In back, there's a small gloss black trunk mounted spoiler. There's the backup camera, the dark housing for those LEDs. There's also parking sensors, and then some more gloss black in the lower section and that dual exhaust. Now this does have remote start, so you can use the key fob for that if you would like to. You can also use the key fob to release the trunk or use that tab up underneath. Now there's no power trunk for this specific model, and you get a storage bin on both sides. There's also no storage underneath the floor, but you can also fold down the back seats. So simply pull on both of those tabs, and that will give you a lot more interior space making this that much more practical. Now you have this lip on the underside here, so you basically have a grab handle behind the entire trunk liner there. Now in back, there's a very small gloss black spoiler along with the Audi logo. There's a set of LED taillights with that sequential turn signal, backup camera with all the sensors, and then this also has the Sport quad tip dual exhaust, which we will start up here very shortly. Now as we work our way to the cargo space, you can use the button on the key fob or up underneath, and you will notice, being a Sportback, this doesn't open up like a traditional sedan. So you actually have a lot more interior cargo because the entire glass opens up. And as you can tell, I have the rear seats folded down at the moment. You can fit in bicycles or something odd like that. There's that much interior space. There's also storage underneath the floor where there is the spare tire, so if you need to use that, you have a little bit of room there. There's also a storage net on both sides for some smaller items. And being a power liftgate, there's the close button. You can also lock the vehicle too. So this gives you a lot more practicality, and it still has that sedan style to it. Now as we work our way to the interior, this does have the proximity door handles, so you can unlock it, where we are greeted now with the Canberra beige interior. Really nice combo with this exterior blue. So you'll notice the two-tone on the door panel. There's also the brushed aluminum interior lighting. It's on the release handle too, and then there's additional storage down below. And then at 5'10", hopping into the back, I have a good bit of space. There's no storage pockets behind both front seats, however, but you have your vents, your climate adjustments, USB-Cs, and then at my height, I have maybe ½ inch or less of headroom. So if you're taller than me, 3 Series is a little bit on the smaller side, but it's definitely doable for smaller adults to fit in the back. Now right in the middle, you do get the armrest along with the cup holders, and then you can also fold down this middle seat individually if you would like to. There's also a good bit of visibility, so the pillars in the back are thin there. Now you can also lock and unlock this vehicle with the back door handles, which is very nice. And for this interior, we have the rotor gray leather. There's also Alcantara, carbon fiber-like trim accent above that with some brushed aluminum accents. Bang & Olufsen for the sound system. Very nice door panel, even with leather up top. And then these seats are very easy to lock up into place, where they are individual, so you can actually fold down that middle seat if you would like to. But with this rotor gray and the stitching running down the insert, it's a very nice combo. Now as we hop into the back, at 5'10", I have plenty of space. There's also storage nets. You have your temperature adjustments, auxiliaries too. And at my height, I'm just up against the headliner, so while it has that Sportback design to it, it doesn't really hinder your headroom or your space here. If you're any taller than me, obviously it'll be a little bit crammed, but it is doable for adults to sit in the back. Now right in the middle, there's the armrest with a little bit of storage, and then you also have your cup holders on the very end, and you can even fold this down individually like I mentioned. So if you want a little bit higher armrest or you need to gain access into the rear, you have the option to do that. And the pillars in the back are very thin, so you can easily see around this even with its exterior shape. Now up front, there's the memory seating adjustments, lock and unlock. You have your window, side mirror adjustments, and the trunk release down below. And then there's the automatic front seats, which have a nice design to them. There's one manual support or adjustment that is for the leg support there, so you can use that as needed. And then as we hop in now, we are greeted with the solid leather steering wheel. There's a red stripe up top, flat bottom design to it with all these brushed aluminum accents. But let's fire this up now, take a listen to how the 340 sounds. Now up front, the door panel is just like the rear. However, there's the addition of the memory seating controls. Side mirrors are also heated too. There's all the window adjustments and then the trunk release in that lower section. And then we have a little bit more bolstering support to these front seats with the S badge up top. And they are automatic. We even have massaging seats too. So you can use that control down below to gain access to those. Now this has a solid and perforated steering wheel with the S logo. Let's fire this up though and take a listen to how the Sportback sounds. As we come back to the digital gauge cluster now, you'll notice on the left side there's miles per hour, right side is the tach. Now I can use this button in the middle over on the right side to go through some more of this information. So I can scroll through all of this content, just depending on how you would like to see it or what you would like to see. And then you can also go to layout. So you can change how you want to view this information if you need it in a little bit larger view, or you can go into a smaller view. Now this also has paddle shifters. There's volume tuning, Bluetooth and voice commands, and then cruise control on the left. You get all of your headlight adjustments. There's also an air vent. No head-up display for this model. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, you have a lot more to go through. So you can get into your phone. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all your interior lighting, climate adjustments. You have a lot of icons to scroll through. On the home screen, you can go through your nav on one side, and then you can go through this info over on the left side. So it's nice to have that split view. You can get into your climate adjustments. You have your navigation in full screen. There's music. And then you can also get into the heated seats, heated steering wheel, and your temperature adjustments on both sides. There's this optional trim accent just underneath that, along with 2 air vents, some ambient lighting. You have power and volume along with tuning and defrosters with auxiliaries and cup holders. And then you can hide all of that away as needed. You also have all these shortcuts to get through the infotainment system. So you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system. You can simply just go through all of those shortcuts. Now, if we put this into reverse, we have the backup camera along with the 360 view. There's also automatic parking and the backup assistance. So you have no shortage of visibility around this entire vehicle, just depending on what you would like to see. There's also drive and the sport mode. You have park all the way at the back. And then there's traction control along with a shortcut to the forward-facing camera, so you can pull that up in full screen. There's your parking sensors along with the engine start-stop, and then you have 3 different driving modes. So you can go into these as needed, depending on how you would like to drive and how you want the vehicle to react. There's auto hold and the e-brake. You get storage with auxiliaries, and then even more storage in the glove box. Up top, there's the garage door buttons, and then you have your controls for the sunshade and the sunroof, as those are both automatic. And then here's a look at visibility. It's pretty easy to see over both shoulders, so you have quite a lot of visibility from the driver's seat. And coming back to the virtual cockpit, in order to go through all this info, you have controls over on the left side of the steering wheel. So there's arrows, as well as a scrolling dial and a view button. So currently there's the date and the time. You can look at consumption, as well as your short and long-term memory, energy consumers as well, and then you even have your driver assistance and the fatigue setting. So if you've been driving for a long period of time, it would actually tell you when it's time to pull over and take a break. Now you can pull up your audio as well as your music too. And then if you'd like to make that a little bit smaller, click on the view icon where you can still go through all of this over on the far left, but now you have your tach front and center along with miles per hour and what gear you are in. So just depending on how you'd like to view that information. Over on the right side, there's the heated steering wheel, as well as your Bluetooth and voice commands, and then volume and tuning for the radio. There's also paddle shifters on both sides, and then your cruise control stalk with your distance pacing. Now on the left side, there's a large storage area down below, all of your headlight adjustments with 1 air vent just above that. And then as we work our way to the infotainment system, you have the home screen here with the split style, and then you can also go into all of these icons individually. So it just depends on what you like to go into. It's a very easy system to go through. You can even get into your drive select, so you can go through the different driving modes for this, and as well as getting into your seats, your AC, all of that. So we even have the massaging seats that you can look at. There's also shortcuts on this left side, so you can get through your navigation, your audio, and get back to home. Now there's an air vent underneath that, and it actually goes all the way to that passenger side there. So it's one continuous piece just to blend in nicely. And then all of your climates are laid out very nice as well. So you have fan speed. You even can set the rear so you can control that from up front. There's where you'd like the air to go. You have dual zone, as well as heated seats too, and a few other controls. There's a shortcut to your drive select, as well as the engine start stop, traction control, parking sensors, and then you can shut that upper screen off if you would like to. Now there's 2 auxiliaries, a little bit of storage in front of 2 of those cup holders, as well as the square bin just behind that. And then let's put this into reverse, where there's the 360 camera system. So just expand this lower view, and you can take a look at all these camera angles depending on what you would like to see. Drive is going to be to the back, and then if you pop it over to the right, you can actually shift using the shifter or the paddle shifters themselves. And then park is located right on the back. Now there's the e-brake, as well as volume and power for the audio, a little bit of storage, as well as some in the middle. But you'll notice too that that's actually exposed. So the armrest you open up, and that is what you get. Wireless charging, auxiliary, a little bit of storage, and you can even adjust that as needed. So it is exposed, makes it very easy to grab items without actually having to open that up. Now the glove box also has plenty of space. And then up top, there's the rear view mirror, touch sensitive dome lights, and then you also have your controls for that sunshade and sunroof. And here's a look at visibility from the driver's seat. Very easy to see, even with the angle of the roofline, you can even see over that left shoulder. So as we start off behind the wheel for the M340i, we are in sport mode. We'll just give it a minor acceleration. Again, check out the full detailed reviews for more of the driving impressions. But behind the wheel of the 340, this is a very nice BMW and sporty sedan to go with. This is referred to as the M Lite. So it's a huge step below the M3, but it still has a lot of potential for it. And especially in the factory form, we have a very nice performance-oriented, luxury-focused sedan. But you also have a lot of tuning potential with this model. So if this is something that is more in your budget, you can still get an M car for the money. You do maybe an aftermarket suspension, throw in an exhaust, you can tune this, and you can really bump up the performance and the handling. Now, again, in the stock form, it handles very well. It is very quick, and it sounds good too. So you could leave it stock if you wanted to and just have a very nice vehicle. So just depending on your budget, what you want to do with the car again, but it's a nice vehicle. It's very comfortable. If we put it into comfort mode, it will get a little bit softer. We have very nice seats that are a lot more daily driver friendly, and we have a lot of good tech. A lot of space too for the 3 Series. This is on the smaller side again for the sedan lineup from BMW, but it drives nice. It's what you would expect for a BMW as far as the comfort level goes and all of the materials and everything that you get. Now, this particular 340 is a little bit more on the base side. We have an MSRP in the mid $60,000 range. It can creep up to the 70s just depending on the options you go with. So of course this is missing some that you could add depending on what you would like, what fits your daily driving preference more. So the 340, I really like this car. I've had friends with these cars. I've had friends who have put car seats in the back. It's just a really nice, well-rounded sedan. And even in comfort mode here, paddles are still very responsive. So it's a nice vehicle to be behind the wheel, and you have a lot that you can still do with this M Lite version. And while we're still in dynamic mode, second gear, here we go. That exhaust definitely has a good tone to it. And as you can hopefully tell, the shifts are very quick. So even with mild accelerations, this is a fun car. And so this is what it's like to be behind the wheel for the S5 Sportback. I will say, I think the biggest comment that I've seen on previous videos is the screen. Just to point that out real quick, it does kind of look like it is stuck on. Maybe Audi will integrate that somehow for the next model year or for some of their other vehicles as well. But I think it's nice. It gives you what you need. It's not too large for the design that it has. If you're looking for a luxury vehicle, you want all of those fine materials. We do have some kind of material on the upper section of the door. This is not leather. I'm not sure if you can get an extended leather package. I know some models offer that. It would be nice to see leather for the entire dash as well as those pieces there. But everything else is very nice. Very premium feeling materials to give you a nice luxury interior. But the drive is very nice. Super quiet, as I've already mentioned. And very practical too. So if you're looking for a vehicle that is this size, obviously you want more of a sedan style, but you want something that's going to be a little bit more practical. This is a really good option because of that cargo space going all the way through. You can fit in some larger items. So if you're looking for one vehicle that can kind of do it all with extra storage, the S5 Sportback is something to look into.
And coming back to our final thoughts now with the 340i and the S5 Sportback. These are both really fun, sedans. However, with the Audi, you get that hatchback design to give you a little bit more practicality in the back. So if you want more of that sedan style, but you want even more practicality, the S5 is going to give you that. And of course, you have some variants with that. You can go with the A5, the S5, even the RS5, which is going to cost significantly more than the 340. So the S5 is kind of in line with that as far as pricing goes, but you do get a little bit more storage. They're both going to be very sporty, very luxury vehicles to drive. So just depending on the styling that you like better, the interior options that you like better. I know everyone's not a huge fan of the large screen in the BMW, and the Audi, you get the divided screens just to make them a little bit smaller looking. So just depends on your personal preference. But comment down below, let me know, would you rather go with the 340i or the S5? Let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed today's head-to-head comparison, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.